Alright, just getting into it. This is just the update I've used for Summerset. A few small changes I've made. I'll go ahead and get into it and show you guys what I've done. The two-handed weapons now count for 2 pieces, so in doing that I was able to go with only 3 pieces of fortified brass and keep the 5-piece benefit from that. So I've gone with fortified brass, 3 pieces, 1 two-handed axe, and the one-handed axes I've got 2 pieces here. I've also used the impregnable armor set. I've got 2 pieces medium. This is a medium build, 5 medium. I've got the impregnable armor rings and jewelry, 2 weapon damage, and 1 magic recovery. I use that to keep my reflective scale up. That and the drop out potions. The thing that I changed was I went with 2 pieces here. I went with pirate skeleton, and this is a heavy piece, and this is a medium piece, mighty children. Now these 2 give me some pretty strong resistances. I'm up to about 6,000 resistance just from these 2 alone. So my unbuffed spell resistance and physical resistance, I've got about 30k and 28k here. If I go ahead and buff up, now my spell resistance is at the cap, a little over it. This is right next to the cap, so I mitigate quite a bit of damage here. Now on my critical resistance I've got about 5,000. I took some points from the champion degree. I took them down and put them in some other places, so I'll go ahead and show you guys that in a minute. But this is going to mitigate a lot of critical damage. So getting into the champion points, this is what I've done since the update. I've kept some points here into Blessed for healing done. I've taken some points out of Physical Weapons Expert just because I didn't think it was a really good place to put in my head. I do use heavy attacks actually quite a bit, but not quite. I wasn't quite getting the damage out of this that I felt like I should be getting. This is a pretty good idea for just about any build. This helps your direct damage attacks quite a bit. I've kept 64 in a mighty, 64 in a piercing, and I put 20 into precise strikes. Now my critical is only 29%, which is really it's fairly low, but having this in there does really help when you do make a critical strike, and you can use weapon power potions and that sort of thing to increase it. I could get up to about 40% critical strikes if I use one of those, so this will come into play. I've got 66 into Ironclad, only 29 into resistance. My critical resistance, I took points out of here because I didn't feel like, I felt like I had enough critical resistance to pretty much get by. And to be honest, this setup feels actually a little bit better. I've got some into thick skin. I'm taking less damage over time. Some into elemental defender, and some into hardy. Now this is taking 12% less damage on top of 22% less damage from both of those. So you figure 12 plus 22 is, I'm taking about 34% less damage from these two. Plus I do like this passive here, Unchain. When you break free, your next stamina ability is greatly reduced. Here I've got some points into quick recovery, increasing your healing received, which is a very useful thing. It's something I've kept. And basically on my healing, I get 7% healing done, 7% healing received. That's 14% plus. In my Draconic tree, I get, whenever I have a Draconic power active, which I normally do in a fight or whatever, I'll keep volatile armor up, and this will give me a couple things. It'll give me added resistance, and it also keeps my healing going up to about, with everything, about 28%. So that's what I've done there. Now as far as the build progression goes, this is the plan. As soon as I get some time that I can go ahead and do this, what I'm going to do is go to Dragonstar Arena and get a couple Master's weapons. What I'd like to do is go ahead and get Master's X's here, and then go to the Asylum and get an Asylum X here. Now the Master's Axes will give you roughly an extra 9,000 on your rending slashes. So what I've been doing is using molten armaments. That makes my heavy attacks hit 40% stronger, although it doesn't work. It doesn't work out that way. You know, your heavy attacks do tend to get stronger. And I'll do a heavy attack into a rending slash, and that will kind of prepare the enemy. So it's roughly 5,300 initial hit, and then another 9,200 physical damage. Well, basically the Master's Axes will actually raise this number up to about another 9,000 over 9 seconds. So that's going to be really strong. And I kind of, when I'm out there, I use this on the enemy. I'll heavy attack into rending slash, and basically I can do this all day without losing stamina or anything like that, and all the time building up ultimate. So that's pretty much what I use. Now once you get the enemy's health low enough, then I can go into my two-hander mode, because my two-hander actually does more damage, and Dizzying Swing is still a really good CC to have. Now just another thing, when I've been out in Cyrodiil, I've used a few skills that probably not a lot of other people use, but I find them really useful. Dragonfire Scale, which is the reason I keep this enchantment on this jewelry. It does a really good job of reflecting projectiles if you're up against a sword or say a Nightblade with a bow and arrow. This reflects it back at them, and it seems like a few times a day out in PvP, they'll kill themselves using this. I've had all kinds of people try to shoot me with stuff and just have a reflect back at them, and it basically kills them. Now I've gone with Radiant Mage Light, and this is kind of a different skill to use as well, but when you're out in Cyrodiil, there's so many Nightblades out there. You know, this becomes kind of a must-have. About 90% of the time, I'm usually able to kill the Nightblades using this combination. I'll hit Molten Armaments, Radiant Mage Light. If they have a bow and arrow, I'll hit this. And I'll do Rending Slashes, a heavy attack into Rending Slashes. When their health gets low enough, then I'll just switch to my two-handed bar, Dizzying Swing. Usually by that time their health is low enough I can use Reverse Slice and kill them pretty quick that way. This also really slows them down quite a bit. But anyway, I guess that's the plan. I'm going to go with Master's Weapons here and an Asylum here. The Asylum will actually give you ultimate back for your executes. Your executes being Reverse Scythe or the other morph. So I guess that's about it. The changes that I'm going to have to make once I get the axes that I want is I'm going to have to remove these two because I won't have the 5-piece bonus that I get from these axes anymore. But I think that's going to be okay because while I can remove these, I still have a lot of critical resistance, and for a build like this, it's going to be a pretty doable deal, I think. So I'm going to have to go with keeping the impregnable pieces, giving me my 5-piece, and then I'm going to have to remove these two and go with a 5-piece fortified brass. And I think I should be tanky enough once I do that, but I think it's really going to increase my game and that sort of thing because the Rending Slashes is going to do so much more damage. Right now, the damage over time from this is going to be 9,000. Basically, I'll be able to double that. And that should work pretty well. So, anyway, this is just kind of a video about what I've been doing and where I plan to go with this once I get time. I'm not sure that any more build videos are going to be coming for a little while. Just because I'm going to be busy and that sort of thing. But anyway, I hope that some of you guys have found this to be helpful, and I guess I'll see you guys out there. Take care.